Hello and welcome back to the When You're podcast, the podcast for when you're doing anything. Today we're talking about when you're celebrating Dia de los Muertos or Dia de Muertos. You know, it's either or. Now, translated in English, it means Day of the Dead, and it's a Mexican tradition. It's a Mexican holiday. Well, I mean it's just a holiday, but it came from Mexico essentially. It's Hispanic in origin, Mexican. So, the Day of the Dead, how I remember the Day of the Dead, I mean, they kind of taught it in school. They were just kind of like, this is what I don't really know when it became like really, really big or really, really popular. I know that they had like certain movies or documentaries about it or like, but there was one thing, it was like one year everybody just started like hopping on the, what's it called? The bandwagon of like Dia de los Muertos, like, it was one of those moments. And I can't recall exactly when it was that everybody was like, oh my gosh, I love this holiday. Look what I found, Like people just like discover it. Like it hasn't been around for a long time, but like it blew up, essentially. And that's when everybody was getting really involved in it. Everybody was really into the holiday. And that's when I started kind of like learning about it and learning more and more and more about it. And ever since then, I've kind of just took a little time, took a little moment to like, remember those loved ones who have passed away and to celebrate the life that they had. Not that, you celebrate their death. That's not what the holiday is technically supposed to be about. But yeah, Day of the Dead, I mean, at first I kind of was just like, it's a Halloween, when I was like, a kid, I didn't really pay that much attention to it. I was just kind of like, it is what it is, they're dead. We're going to give them a day to like celebrate it. I thought it was like a funeral continuation, like, oh, we can't forget those that have passed away. And we keep them in our hearts and stuff like that. And I was just kind of like, yeah, it just feels like more of a continuation of the funeral, but it's actually a lot better. It's a lot more it's a lot more fun than that, and there's a lot more tradition involved in it. And so when I think of the Day of the Dead now, as I did before I did back then, now it's like, it's a lot more of live your life to the fullest today and make sure that those people who passed away, you remember them and pass on their stories or pass on who they were, or, through your actions and what you do and what you like and how you express yourself and all of those things, And where I kind of fit into it right now is more of like, if I want to be remembered, I have to be the best version of myself. I want to be remembered as the best version of myself. I don't want to be remembered as anything that's less or anything that sucks or anything like that. Because those are bad memories, right? And we'll have bad memories of a lot of people. A lot of people die, and they're only remembered by bad memories. It's more bad than good. But I want to have more good memories and a lot more good times, a lot more people in my life that love me and care about me. And when I die, they'll be able to carry on my love and my humor, my fun, the good things that I provided in this world to people, friends, family, things like that. And without it, I don't know. I feel, who's to say if the dead really do come back on that day, right? Because supposedly they're supposed to come back during like the 2 days at night. It's this year it's on the 1st and the 2nd, and sometimes it depends on like, I don't know where it fits in, but this year it's on the 1st and it's on the 2nd, and it's a 2-day holiday, and I like that it extends to 2 days, because it's like you give them time to come back and spend the night, and then you give them, I don't know, maybe another night, or like you get 2 chances essentially, second chances. I like that. I definitely enjoy that aspect to it. Now, some of the traditions of the holiday include, there's a bunch of skulls, right? So they gather, they like to decorate with skulls. They like to decorate with these flowers, the marigold, like the type of flowers that are like traditional that stick for the holiday are marigold flowers and skulls, skeletons. People dress up. People do the face paint. They get their like dressed up as skeletons and whatnot. They do the whole thing. It's actually pretty cool. Some of them are really really fun and very fitting of the holiday. And for me, it's just like it really continues the spooky season just a little bit longer. That way it doesn't feel like the Christmas parade just hops in. Like I just saw Mariah Carey. She was like dressed as a witch, and then as soon as it turned November 1st, she was already singing All I Want for Christmas Is You. It's like, come on. First of all, it doesn't go from Halloween to directly to Christmas. Though the advertisers might make you believe it, though Mariah Carey might sing it, it is not time yet. All right. First, we got this holiday. We got Dia de los Muertos. And then after that, it's the big turkey. After the big turkey, then on the 25th or whatever day it is, that is when you go to Christmas. That's when the holiday transitions to the next one. It's not November 1st. Nobody does that. Daylight savings hasn't even come in yet. How are you gonna realistically make it Christmas if daylight savings hasn't crossed over yet? No. We have until the 6th, I think. It'll be next Sunday, whatever it is. So yeah, it's not done by a long shot, but we keep the spooky season going, you know? We keep the skeletons alive, we keep the horror theme around, and it gives enough people enough time to, like, take down their Halloween decorations, you know? So that way, if you leave it up for, like, a day or two, it's not so bad, but then on the third day, you kind of have to be like, yo, the moment's over, you know? Wrap it up. Which is exactly why you have to prepare earlier. You have to appreciate while it's here, and now that it's dying down, it's whittled down to whatever's left. You know, we definitely have to appreciate this Halloween, and it was very fun and very good. What was I saying? Oh yeah, they celebrate. They dress up in skulls. They do all kinds of things. They dress up with flowers, dresses. They really go all out for this one, and I always kind of was just like, it didn't really matter to me what you dressed up as. I guess it doesn't really matter. You just celebrate those who have passed away. But that stuff it felt like they were just trying to, like maybe they were like, I want another Halloween costume idea. Let's just dress up as skeletons or with the skull and whatnot. But, you know, which isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad idea, but it's like, I'm glad that they keep it to that costume, to that idea of like a skeleton. That way you don't celebrate the Day of the Dead in like your Spider-Man costume or whatever it is, you know? Imagine you're celebrating it and you're dressed up as Spider-Man. Like everybody's gonna be like, what are you doing? You can't celebrate. This isn't a Spider-Man, you know, it's cool on Halloween, but for this, yeah, it doesn't work. So overall, I think, in the flowers, I do really love the flowers. The flowers are a nice touch. It brings, you know, it's the contrast between the dead, the skeletons and whatnot, the bones, the skulls, you know, those represent death. And then the flowers, which are beautiful and life-giving, and they're really colorful. I think that's a really nice dichotomy between the two, how they have such different values, but they work for this holiday to celebrate those who have died, and they give life to us. You know, it's something that we can provide in this world that they don't have. You know, they have the bones, they have the skeletons. They're nothing but old bones, and we can give them flowers. You know, we can love them and care for them even while we're alive, and that's what matters. That's what's important. It's not about crying about those who have passed away. It's about caring for those that have been there, remembering them. And for the most part, we try to remember them through the altars, the ofrendas. You make this little I don't know. It's not. It's just a little shrine, a little thing with pictures, and you make it look real nice. You deck it out. You put their favorite food up there. You put their favorite drinks or whatnot, whatever they liked when they were living, and they typically do food. In Mexico, it's like they do tamales. They do all kinds of traditional Mexican cuisine for the holiday. Especially because it is a Mexican originated festival. And plus, Mexican food is just amazing. It's just delicious. But yeah, you dress it up, you make it look nice, and you put them on the altar so that way they're displayed. Everybody can see them. Everybody knows them. Nobody's missed, especially all of your family members, because if they're not on there, I mean, I guess you can still celebrate them, but it's just the tradition of it all, you know? It's... Although I have thought, like, what if you just did, like, a whole technologically based, like... If you did, like if you did a PowerPoint presentation of them all, you know? You do, like, a slideshow, you know, little videos on there. I've seen those new, like, photo frames where it's digital. So you just frame it up like regular, and then it'll do a slideshow of, like, videos or, you know, all kinds of images and pictures, and it'll, like... And you can set the effects on it. I thought that was really cool. I think that's very cool that you can do that they have those kind of photo frames. But overall, the food is probably the best part of this all. Like, it was a cool idea for me to think about, like, why do we put it on the altar? Why do we put it on the ofrendas? Why do we even care about all of that? And the truth is that first of all, we deck out the ofrendas and the altar, whatever you want to call it, the shrine. We put candles, we glow it up, we make it look pretty, we make it look nice, we put flowers, we put food, we put all kinds of things onto it. So that way, it's noticeable, it's recognizable, they can tell, you know. That way they can definitely know where they're appreciated and loved. Because essentially they come back for the night or for whatever time, and they spend it with you wherever they're loved and celebrated and remembered by people. And that typically tends to be family, friends, and whoever. So you do that, you care for each other, and that way they can see the care and the effort that you put into their lives. They can see it's colorful, because if it's like just pretty bland, it's just like, it's not really popish. It doesn't stand out. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. But if you really, really deck it out, you make it look very, very nice. The chances of them recognizing it and appreciating it and really feeling the love and the care and the joy is what it's all about. So it's either go hard or go home, essentially. You got to do it right. You got to do it big. And there was something to it that I wanted to say about, I think if you just have like maybe one or two people on there, like, it doesn't matter how many you have on there, obviously, but if you have like maybe one or two, it feels like it shouldn't be like so. I mean, you can make it whatever it is. I'm just thinking out loud here. It's like, if only one person is dead, it feels kind of empty, the altar, you know. It kind of feels like, okay, I got them the stuff, I decked it out, I made it look nice, but now it just kind of feels a little empty, you know, which is kind of a wrong way to think. Like, I wish there were more dead people so we could fill up the altar, but I always that was always my thought process, like, what if I only had like a small picture of them, or I only had something really tiny, and I put it on the altar, and I have this big thing, and there's too much space, is what I'm trying to say. And so, what I like most about the whole decoration aspect of the altar, the ofrenda, the shrine, I'm just going to call it the ofrenda. Well, that's what it's called, but anyways, what am I talking about? Yes. My favorite part about the whole decorating aspect of it all was that when you decorate it, you put a little sauce to it. You know, you give it a little something, little extra. And so I was kind of thinking to myself, like, I'm not just gonna put food and like flowers on it. That's lame. I'm gonna put like all kinds of new stuff that they're probably missing out on. You know, oh, you haven't tried the new PS5? Oh, yo, check this out. And then you set it up, you play on the game, you get, you know, you give them a controller, whatever. And I bet you that's going to be the future. I bet you a lot of people are going to have ofrendas with their game controllers, their phones, their all this other stuff, which isn't a bad thing. I think that's just the way of the times. But I just think it's funny how like now we're just doing like this simple basic stuff, and we could definitely do more. And I guess, you know, I was talking about like it being empty space. I guess you could just fill it up with all kinds of food. That's what I would do if I was in that situation where it was like, oh, there's too much space. Well, we'll just add another plate of whatever it is that they love, you know, give them extra chips, extra drink, extra this, extra that. And I don't believe in just letting it sit there like all night. Like that's a waste of food, you know? So instead, I think you leave it on there for a good maybe hour. Give them a good amount of time to like eat. You know, however long you think it would take for you to eat. I eat really quickly, so I think it would take like around like 15, 20 minutes. I mean, depending on what it is or and how much. But yeah, I would give them roughly that amount of time and then extend it by twice. So maybe like 40, 45 minutes for them to truly let that sit there and then be like, okay, now we can take this off. Now we can actually eat. You know, we're not just going to leave it there. I respect you and I care for you and I'm celebrating your life, but I'm not wasting this. You know, I'm going to eat it. That would be crazy though. If you left it there all night and then it was just gone like Santa Claus, you just put like a whole plate of tamales on the ofrenda and then you wake up the next day and you're like, oh boy, time to eat those leftover tamales that I left on the ofrenda. And then you see it and you're just like, they're gone. Who ate them? You know, and you like interrogate your whole family. Like, who ate the tamales that were on the ofrenda? Those weren't for you. And then everybody's like, I don't know. And then it was actually like, oh my goodness. They actually ate them. That would be crazy. That would be really funny. So for me, and then there's also the dessert. You also have dessert, and that's also really cool. So I guess you can put cookies. You can put all kinds of stuff on there. But I'm thinking that when it comes to food, what would I put on mine? When it comes to food, I mean, you need everything. First of all, you definitely need a burrito on there. You definitely have to put a burrito on there for me. Maybe a burger of some kind, fries. Let me think. Fried chicken, definitely got to put some on there. Yo, you really just got to give me a buffet. That's how this is going to work. Mac and cheese. Ooh, the Kraft mac and cheese, the little ones. You know what I'm talking about? The ones the ones that use the packet cheese, not the real cheese, not Velveeta. You don't want that. You want the processed Kraft mac and cheese that you put in the microwave in those little cups. Oh yeah, you definitely got to give me some of that. And then, I mean, I'll probably just drink water. I mean, I do like lemonade. I will say that. So you can definitely put that on there. Fruit. In terms of strawberries, peaches are really good. My favorite, peaches. Let me think. I mean, apples, oranges, grapes. Yo, there's really so much that people are like, when I die, there's so much that they're going to have to put on for me. They're going to have to do so much. They really got to do it big. If they don't do it big, I'm definitely not coming back for it. I'm definitely not. I mean, I guess if it is my only day to celebrate my life and enjoy the things that I had while I was living, then yeah, okay, maybe I'll come back. But still, I feel like if I were to die and then nothing was done for me, I wouldn't be like, why didn't you do anything? You know, I wouldn't cry myself. I'd be like, I'm dead. Life is good. You know, I'm chilling in the good place or the bad place. Either one, really. And I don't know. I feel like food would really be something I would want on mine. I would really want something that I truly love. And it can just be one thing. Well, and let me rephrase. It can't. It can't be just one thing. It has to be a whole buffet. You got to give me a whole thing, a whole platter of food that I love. That way I can try every little thing, you know, incrementally throughout the night. And the biggest thing that I understood from it all was that it isn't just like another funeral. It isn't like just another reason to be sad. It isn't another reason to cry yourself to sleep at night, being like, why are they not here anymore? I wish they were still, you know, it's not that. It's definitely just more of like, they were alive and they contributed to mine and they added so much and they gave me so much, and it's time to celebrate them and what they did for me and how I continue to live on. You know, they live through me still. How do I keep their heart and their mind and their souls alive with me in my memory and pass it on to my kids and their memory and so on and so forth. And so I think if I ever get to an age where it's like I pass something on to other people, to friends, or, you know, my kids, it really has to be that you have to enjoy time, you have to enjoy life, you have to enjoy your days. You can't waste it. I would definitely encourage them to do a big party, do a big blowout, you know, put my picture up and do the whole thing, but make it a big deal. Don't cry. Don't be like, I miss them, I wish they were here. No, you celebrate you and me. And when you celebrate you, that'll celebrate me. You having a good time means I did my job. You're able to live life to the fullest, enjoy yourself, and be happy. That's kind of what I want to pass on to the next generation, to the people, that no matter how bad things might get, no matter how bad things may seem, you can always find something to smile about, to laugh about, to bring joy into your life. And it can be the littlest thing, you know, it can be simple as the color of your shoes. Something that just bring that side out of you, something that makes you feel joy. And when you feel it and when you have it in your heart, you can't help but enjoy this life. You can't help but enjoy a breath of air into your lungs. Because that's another thing that we take for granted, is that while we live today, we take for granted like air. We take for granted air. We take for granted walks, the sun, warmth, cold, soft and feel, touch. We take for granted all of our senses, essentially, because when we die, you can't have any of that. Or, you know, obviously I don't know, and who actually knows, but I think that when we do die, it's like we're going to be, you know, you can be happy and you can go on to the next life, but you're always going to be remembered or think about what you did here. You're going to think about when you took that deep breath of fresh air, you know, somewhere hiking up the mountains. You're going to remember the pain in your legs from climbing or walking or running. You're going to remember the feeling on the beach where the water was so cold but the sun was so hot and you had a sunburn and you did this and you did that. You're going to miss those feelings. You're going to miss eating. You're going to miss all of these things. Whereas the dead, they can't have that anymore. That's why it's important to cherish it now and enjoy it now, to really take it and appreciate it for what it is today, and pass it on and remember it and hold on to that feeling. That way you don't waste anymore. And with death, there's no, they usually have the depiction that he's like in a black hood like this. I think he's in a black hood like that, and that he he has a black hood like this, right? And he has the scythe, and he's a skeleton. He taps you on the shoulder, and he's like, "It's time for us to go." It's not. I don't think it's technically like that. I mean, it could be. Again, I have no idea about this stuff. I have no idea about death, but if it were to be like that, I think it would be really funny. I'd look them in the eye and I'd be like, "Come on, really? This is how I go out? Tripping on a bicycle?" That would be funny. Like, you trip over your shoe and then you die. And he's just like, "Hate to break it to you, but you're dead." And you're just like, "No!" So, another part about this whole thing is you return to the gravesite or wherever you buried them, or spread their ashes or whatnot. I mean, I guess if you spread their ashes, it would really depend, right? If you spread their ashes in like a field. No, I guess you could. Okay, so anyways, you go to like where they're buried, or their wherever their gravesite is, and you clean it up. They clean it up and they deck it out. Same thing with the ofrendas. And when they clean it up, that's where they celebrate it, essentially. So there's multiple spaces and multiple places that they can feel the love. They can enjoy their life. And I always thought that was nice. It doesn't have to be, the ofrenda doesn't have to be at anywhere. I mean, it doesn't have to technically only be at your house. You could pick it up and move it. You could take it somewhere else where to a park that they really loved. You could take it to their room, or to this room, or to this place or that place, or wherever they really enjoyed it. Where they enjoyed their time. So like, if you were a pilot, we would take the ofrenda to a plane. That would be fun. You take this like commercial flight and you set up like this whole thing in the aisle, and everybody's like, "Take that down, I'm trying to get to the bathroom." And you're like, "Listen, we're celebrating the life of my dead father, and you're gonna sit over there and talk about going to pee. Appreciate that you have the feeling that you can pee, because my father, he's died and he was a pilot, so we put the ofrenda here in the plane." Stuff like that. That's the kind of things. Those are the kind of things that I think about. And the gravesite is just yet another spot. This is where you're buried. This is where you reside. This is where your body was, is now. So if they come back to life, they'll probably pop out from there and they'll be like, "Yo, the party's already getting started. I'm already here. What's up, everybody?" And that way everybody can like have that one meeting ground, that one meeting place where it's like, we're going to their grave. Because we're going to their grave, the more likely the chances that they're actually going to enjoy it and celebrate it, I guess. Because if they're buried, right? Like, if they come back to life, this is the thing. If they do come back to life, if they reawaken, they come back into the land of the living, then that would mean, essentially, they have no way of traveling. Like, I don't think they can fly, right? They're just bones. They walk around or whatever. Or maybe they are ghosts. What if they are? They ghost and they can fly. They can go wherever. I think that would be good. There's so much about this that's interesting, right? Do they just get up and they're just a regular person, but in like a ghost form, or can they do supernatural? Do they have supernatural abilities? What are the kind of things that they can do? What kind of things can't they do? So you visit the gravesite, you're there, and the higher the chances are of them actually being there and being loved and being appreciated for where they are. Which I don't think necessarily has to be the case. You don't have to visit the gravesite or wherever you buried them, or spread their ashes about, right? Because if you spread their ashes at sea or whatever, but like, what if they really love the ocean? I guess you could go to the beach. That would be celebrating them. Put the ofrenda in the sand. That would be cool. That's not a bad idea. A beach, Dia de los Muertos party. That's pretty cool. You have a nice barbecue cookout, cool stuff. Think about it. You already have to bring the food, so that way. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a nice little trip. But would they come out of the water, or would it be like, I think I'm overthinking this. All that happens is that they come back into the world and then they relive with their family. They're acknowledged, they're loved, they're remembered. That's all that matters. All that really matters is that they're remembered and that they're loved, and that who cares if they're back in a metaphysical body? Who cares if they're ghosts, Maybe that's how there's ghosts in this world. They're ghosts, not necessarily like bad ghosts, right? I think we all expect ghosts to be evil. But maybe when they come over to be celebrated and remembered, they get trapped here. They get stuck here. And then they start like, over time, they're like, gosh, I wish I was alive. Man, I wish I was dead, but I'm in like this, I'm in the living world, but I'm this ghost and I'm supposed to be dead, but I didn't, I can't go back anymore. So now I'm stuck here watching these people live their lives, waste their time. And now I will become evil and I will do all of this and blah, blah, blah. That's how you get paranormal activity. That's how you get people like dragged up walls and moved into different spaces and whatnot. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. All I'm trying to say is that the Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos or Dia de Muertos, is about celebrating family, those who have passed away, living a good life, and remembering who they are, remembering those people that are a part of your family, people who are close to you. And that can be legit blood, or it can be friends, people who you make your family. So definitely get the ofrenda up. You gotta do it. Get some nice pictures of multiple people or one person is all that it takes. Deck it out, make it look good. PowerPoint, presentation, everything that they love. A lot of food, cook a lot of food. You got to give them options. You got to give them choices. And that way, it's like a party. It's more of a party that way when you get more variety of choices. Don't cry. Don't be sad. It's not about that. It's about really being happy. That's all it's about. It's just about enjoying life. And when you enjoy life, it means that, their death doesn't hold you back. Their death doesn't make it anything worse for you. It just lets you, it hurts. It definitely is pain there, but you can definitely still live a good life and be a good person and do great things in life. And if they come back to this world, hopefully they'll acknowledge it. They'll see it. They'll remember it. They'll be like thankful for it, so that way when maybe one day when you go, which shouldn't be for a very long time, but maybe when you go, they'll always have that in their hearts for you. They'll always be like, they'll find you again. You know what I mean? Because you remembered them so much during this life. You're connected, your souls will automatically reunite and it'll be good times and it'll be fun and you will be loved. And that's what it's all about, right? It's all about love, family, and the connection you build with people. So that's what I wanted to talk about, and that's kind of what I think about on this holiday, especially after Halloween when we were definitely going crazy. We were definitely going wild. So it's nice to kind of transition, do an easy transition from it, Last night we were raging, we were partying, we were going nuts. And then the next day it's family, remembering those who have passed away, people who matter in our lives, friends. We celebrate with food and we care about them. And then after that, it's turkey time. And then after that, it's Christmas. So there's a bunch of the holidays are coming up. They're coming towards us all at once. And I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm definitely excited for. I definitely enjoyed Halloween in October. I definitely loved it. It was so much fun wearing my costume every week with you guys. But now it's time to spread. It's the season of giving. You know, it's gotta. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there eventually. But right now, Dia de los Muertos. It's about celebrating those who've passed away and those who you love, and keeping their spirit alive by being yourself, by carrying on traditions and remembering them. And that's what it's all about. So thank you guys so much for listening. I will see you guys all next time. Thank you.